Introduction to transitive verbs. Let's start with what we're familiar with, right? So we have I eat it. We're familiar with English, so this is an English sentence, right? The I is the subject, meaning who is doing the action, in this case, I, followed by the verb or the action, right? And then this is the object, the thing that's receiving the action, whatever it is that you eat, right? So here we have the word order in English, the subject, the verb, and the object. And they are separate, right? Separate parts. In Mexicano, it's different, right? So we're going to be using the word qua. So in this little underscroll, or you also see there's a little squiggly line, that means that this verb needs an object. So it's a transitive verb, right? So for example, if I want to say I eat it, like the English sentence that you just went over, we would add the ni, right? So ni is always attached to something. That's why I'm writing the dash, ni. Followed by the object, which is a k sound, and then the action, right? So nihkua, so we have here the subject. Now, because Mexicano and other Nahuatl dialects, they're parts that you bring together. So the first one here is called a subject prefix. Subject prefix. This is called an object prefix. But I also call it infix because it goes inside. And then followed by the verb or the action, right? Nihkua. You heard me say nihkua, right? So the word order is different in Mexicano and other dialects, right? So subject, object, verb. And the object will always be represented by a k or a QU or a QUI. Right? So that's the difference between the word order. Okay. So the object will always be represented by a QU or a QUI. Okay. We're going to continue with the word gua. So ni, right? Remember it means I. It's functions as I am. I'm doing the action. Nihkua. Nihkua. So You hear me say nihqua, right? Because this is actually two case sounds. The first case sound will be a aspiration, like yekat. It has voice like hit, heart, like the H, how it's pronounced. Nihqua, nihqua, nihqua. If you've been studying Mexicano in the classes on your own or any other dialect, you are familiar with the subject prefixes, right? So we have ni, so let's title them. Subject, prefixes, otherwise also, they're also known as pronouns, but I prefer to use prefixes because they go first and they attach to something. Okay, ma'am? So we have ni, as in I am doing the action. D, you are. And for a third person, there is no subject prefix. We just use the symbol, sometimes nothing. Those are the singular, right? The plurals would be D, we are. But it's going to be followed by a plural suffix. It indicates two or more people are doing the action. Followed by in, which is you all, right? They all have to add, you have to add the object after, so I'm writing the dash. In is you all, also with the low. And then they are doing the action is nothing. So we're going to take a look at what that means. Okay. Okay. So remember that the formula is always the subject plus the object plus the verb. Okay. And that the object is always represented by the C, the QU, or the QUI. Always. Okay. So, nihqua, right? Kinami isto you eat it. Tihqua, you eat it. Let me close my A's. And then she or he or they or it eats it would be kikwa, kikwa. You may be asking yourself, why is it ki? Well, take a look at this, right? Kikwa, because this is not pronounceable. It doesn't follow, doesn't align with how the language is pronounced, and this is why it's ki, kikwa. So nihkwa, I eat it. Tihkwa, you eat it. Kikwa, he eats it, she eats it, they eat it. In terms of these constructions, this is the third person. It could be an animal as well, right? There is no gender in terms of verbs as well. It kikwa may be indicating se suwas, a woman, se tlacat, a man, se masewal, a person, indigenous person, se isquins, a dog. Okay. And then we have the plurals. Again, the object will always be a C, a Q, U, or a Q, U, I. Okay. So And then for the plurals, we're gonna add that lo indicates two or more people are doing the action. So to say we eat it, it would be ti cualo. You all eat it in ki cualo. And then they eat it ki cualo. Okay, again with in, right? So here, ink cualo, amo. You have to use the ki, right? So tixcualo, we eat it. In quicualo, you all eat it. And quicualo, they eat it. So let's put it all together. Right, remember the object is always a C, which is a K sound, a QU, or a QUI. Right, so nihqua, tihqua, I forgot an extra C. Quiqua, the plurals would be tihqualo. In quiqualo, quiqualo. You may be asking yourself, when do I use a C, a QU, or QUI? Well, it depends on the verb. For example, here with, and it also depends who's doing the action. So for a third person, if the verb starts with the consonant, meaning any letter but the vowels like A, E, I, O, we use the key. Here as well, right? In cases where also, we don't use, it's not, the pronunciation doesn't align with nahuatl, right? So, let's see, there's another word. Oh, ihquiloa is a good one. So qua, remember, qua means to eat something. Now we can go over some verbs that start with an I and they use the key, right? They have to use the key. Just for a reminder to let you know this is the object that you will always be using. It'll always be in the middle as well. Okay? So here we have another verb, ich, we, loa, which means to write something. And I'm writing a little dash because it's a transitive verb as well. You need an object. So we have ni. With these, you always have to use the key. So it'll be ni, ki, qui, loa. Ni, ki, qui, loa. You'll be asking yourself, well, the verb starts with an I, and this is a key, right? So another rule is when there's two I sounds, it just turns into one I sound. So it's not ni, ki, qui, loa, it's ni, ki, qui, loa. And that happens not just in Mexicano, but in other dialects as well. Okay? Nikiquiloa. What about you write it? If you said Tiquiloa, Kuali. fue el cual. What about she writes it? If you say quisquiloa quali. Okay. So, what about the plurals? Again, we're going to be using ki for the object for the verbs that start with an e. So we're going to take a look at another one, but right now we're working with ihquiloa. Okay. This is what we call a class 3 verb. It's supposed to be an arrow. Didn't turn out to be an arrow, but a class 3 verb, you drop the A in many cases. So for plural, it would be ti, ki, qui, lo. We drop the A. In many cases with class 3 verbs, meaning verbs are in an OA or IA, we drop that A. So we write it tiquisquilolo, tiquisquilolo. You all write it would be in quilolo. And then they write it quilolo, right? Tiquisquilolo and quisquilolo, quisquilolo. So let's put it all together, and also as we're writing it, pronounce it as well, right? So ni ki qui loa, right? The H has a voice, ni ki qui loa. We're stressing it when we are learning, pero it's a soft sound, right? Ni ki qui loa. Ti ki qui loa. And then ki qui loa, right? Ti ki qui lolo. In Quijquilolo. I'm writing out a space here. And then Quijquilolo. Okay, so I write it Niquijquiloa. You write it Tiquijquiloa. He writes it Quijquiloa. Tiquijquilolo, we write it. In Quijquilolo, you all write it. In Quijquilolo. Another verb that simply just uses the key because it starts with an it's ita. Ita, right? Remember, we're going to use the lo for plural. So if you want to test yourself, go ahead and try it. You can pause the video right now and say, I see it, you see it, she sees it, we all see it, you all see it, and they see it. Okay, you can pause it. However, we're going to go over the answers right now. Right, so Nikita, I see it. Tikita, you see it. Kita, she sees it, or he sees it, or they see it, or it sees it. A third person or an animal. Emma? And then the plurals would be tikitalo, you all see it in kitalo, and then they see it, kitalo. Pampa Dios, thank you for dealing with my writing. Right, so I see it, you see it, she sees it, we all see it, they see it, you all, sorry, we all see it, you all see it, and they see it. What are we seeing? Maybe we're talking about a sakwali, right? This could be the object, a sakwali, right? So, sakwali, a cup, sakwali, right? So another verb would be, let's see, a verb that you have to use a QU. It's the verb el kawa, el kawa. Remember the lo for the plurals. Okay, so el kawa means to forget something, to forget. Right, so it would be, kinami mo ito, how do you say I forget? I forget it. Ni, followed by the QU, and then the verb, el kawa. I forget it. Kinami mo ito, you forget it. Di, kel, kawa. She forgets it. Kel, kawa. Right? And then the plurals, right? Remember they have lo, right? Ti, kel, ka, wa, lo, in, ki, sorry, the pattern. In, kel, ka, wa, lo, kel, ka, wa, lo. Okay, let's put it all together. You can repeat after me, right? Ni, kel, ka, wa. Ti, kel, ka, wa. Kel, ka, wa. Right, so ti, kel, ka, wa, lo. In, kel, ka, wa, lo. Running out of space again. Kel, ka, wa, lo. So that's an introduction to transitive verbs. If you have the book, which is called Ma di la Toca Mexicano by Chris Qualfley. You can find it on Amazon. Review pages 81 through 86. Right, and then the greeting to leave it, Timaitasque, right? As you can see, we have the verb to see, right? Timaitasque, nos vemos, we'll see each other.